All right, good evening, one and all. I'm very excited to teach you today about how to write a log method or how to write a decorator function. We'll write state-of-the-art decorator function. We'll be using dunder call and dunder init method. So what this does is basically it creates a log file every time a function is decorated with a log, right? So something like this. If you decorate it and if you run it, so it will create a folder automatically, and here you can see the output. So it will tell you which function ran, what was the execution time, what was the address of that function, then what is the memory consumed, what date, what time, everything is logged on a log file. So here you can see this is beautiful for debugging, right? You just decorate the function that you wanna know about, that's decorated with log function, and this will give you all of that. So let's learn, guys. Let's not waste time on talking much, and let's get straight into action. Alright guys, so first of all what we need to do is, this video might be a little long, but hopefully this will be very useful for you. So let's get started. First of all we need to import a try block and import certain libraries there, and they are datetime, OSS and logging, right? So let's do that. A little bit indentation here, a little bit indentation there. That's done. Let's import an except block, except. So we're gonna say exception as if so, just because if any library is missing, the program won't crash basically. So some modules are missing, so you have to check some modules. I'm gonna do string formatting, call E, right? That's done, guys. Now let us create our very first before even creating a log function, or let's create a log function first. I was thinking to include Metaclass in this, but that'll be too much for you guys. For the people who are watching for the first time, they'll be like, what the heck is this? So I don't want to do that, right? So let's define the state-of-the-art logging module. So I'm gonna say log, right? This will take an object. That's what it is. That's the base class, right? Now what we need to do is basically we need to create an init method, which is nothing but our constructor, remember. And remember, this constructor will take a function because we are creating a wrapper function. So we are creating a decorator, right? So what I will say, self.func is equal to func, right? That's done. Our constructor is ready. Now we need to define our wrapper function or our decorator function, right? Which is actually gonna do all the work for us. So I'm gonna say dunder call. So essentially overriding the call method. And what I want to do is basically, let me just also comment everything. So I'm gonna say wrapper function. All right. So so this should whenever you decorate this, it should tell you about the date, the time, how much time the function took for execution and stuff like that, right? So pretty easy, not a big deal. So what you need to do is basically, first of all, you need to get the time, right? So how you can get time is using the start, datetime to datetime dot now. So basically this will give you the current time, right? Now after that you need to call the function, right? So we'll call the function. It's not that it's just easy, just by saying self dot the name of the function. So arg squarg means whatever parameter you pass into the function will be passed in. After that, once the function is passed, we need to know the name of the function. So the name of the function can be oops, sorry for that. So underscore dunder name will give you the name of the function. So I'm just calling it on the self dot func, right? So whatever the name of the function is, basically it will give you the name of that function, right? There will be spacing. Alright, so we have the function name, we have the start time when the function was and now we need to end it because we want the how much time the function took for execution, right? So let's end it right there. Now let us create a message. The message, what it's gonna do message is basically it will log all of these, right? So that's my message. Function, that will be the name of the function, execution time, address, what address the function was at, memory, how many memory, what's the total memory in bytes, and of course the date. Pretty much it, right? So that's cool. Let me also create I think I need to create one small thing, that is logging path. Oh yeah, I'm gonna create that now. Alright, so we are ready with that. Now what we need to do is basically we need to get the current directory because we want we don't want to create log files in anywhere on the computer. We want to create a folder, and inside that it should be a file known as log.py, whatever. So first of all, we need to get the current working directory. So we can say os.getcwd, which will get you the current working directory. Then I need to create a folder, so I'm gonna say folder is equal to I want a folder known as logs, right? So that's the string or the name of the folder. Then I need to create a new path, right? So the new path equals to os.path. Guess what? Dot join. That's correct. And what do we need to do? What do we need to join is basically the current directory and the folder name. So that means we will be our new directory would be inside that folder, because that's where you want to create our logging files, remember, right? So once that is done, what we need to do is basically it's just to have a try block, right? The try block, what it's gonna do is basically let me write a nice comment here. So try to create a folder. If the folder already exists, it's going to give an error, so we need to handle that. Remember that. os.mkdirs, and I'm going to give it the new path as you expected. Now if the folder already exists, don't give me error, don't crash my software, I will handle it, right? So that means directory already exists, right? So if the directory already exists, that means what we need to do, guys, we need to create our logger. So the logger can be created with this 2 simple line of codes, not a big deal, right? So we can just say logging. I have tutorials on that, so I'm not gonna cover this. It's an advanced Python tutorial, right? So that's a simple logger, right? Now basically we need to return the function, right? Because we need to return temp first of all. Because remember, we called the function but we did not return it. So here you can see we called it but we never returned it. So return temp, let me make sure the indentation is correct. One block, 2 words here, and should be fine. Yep. All right, everything looks good. No errors, no squiggly lines. Everything look neat and clean, right? Now let us define our class that is on which we will try to use this logging module. Let's zoom in a little bit. Remember my video on the slots, you know why slots are used, right? Why it's so important. You should always use slots whenever you're creating any attributes, because you know you don't want to add attributes at runtime. So make sure to watch that. That's part number 9. It's very important. So args, quarks, whatever you want to pass, I don't care. Just say pass. I'm just gonna define a method. Define method a. Remember, for this to work, should be a static class. I don't remember it exactly, so we can try it out. Not a big deal. Yeah, whatever. All right, just decorate that with the log function and should work. I'm not sure if that was the static. Let me just try. I might give an error because the class has to be static. I cannot pass in the self argument, but we can double check that out always. If it gives error, we'll improve it. That's how it works, right? So just creating an object known as test, right? All right, hopefully that works, or usually I think it should give an error. I'm not sure. Let's just run it and see. All right, expected, we should have an error because type error method A is missing one required argument, that is self. So yep, the function has to be static. You cannot I mean, there is a way to make this work, but using Metaclass. If you want to know, or let's also do that in this video. Let's make it like a full-on. So we have this function. Remember, in order for the logger to work, the function has to be a static, right? But I don't want to do that. I want to have control in my hands. I'm going to create a base class known as Metaclass so that this will be solved. This problem would be solved, right? So let's create a Metaclass and do that. All right. So class meta class. class, just say meta, that's fine, meta or meta class, whatever. Inherit from the type, so that's the base class, right? Now let's give a nice comment. That's my meta class, right? Now what I need to do is basically define underscore dunder call, that which is going to basically create my class. So remember, this is a class. I want to use a class method. Instance equals to, I'm going to call super on this, and change that to class as well. I'm going to pass args quarks. Right there should be fine, and at the end we need to return what? Guess what? Return instance, right? Perfect, lovely. Once that is done, we need to define the constructor or dunder in it, right? And again create super and pass in all the arguments, name, base, attr. So if you do not know all of these, watch my basic videos because I cover all of that in that. So I cannot explain everything right now on this video, or it'll be too long. All right, now this logger function should work, and all we need to do is basically, instead of inheriting from object, I'm gonna inherit from my meta class. Let's make sure the spacing is correct. All right, let's run it. Alright, type error, method A is missing one required position argument self. So let's try to fix it. Where exactly is the error? Okay, so temp equals to self.func call function. So line 31. Let me fix that quickly. Alright, so I think I have fixed it. So here you can see I had a small typo issue basically. So now, so this is what I'm calling the function self.func, right? Oops, my bad. So self.func, I'm calling args and quarks. So basically, whatever you pass into the function will be passed to the, and then at the end, I should return the temp, right? So that's where it is. Now let's try to run it and see if this works, hopefully. All right, the method worked fine, and you should have a log file. Let's find the log file. Should be somewhere here. Oh yeah, I think, no, that's my facade. Oh yeah, that's the one. Now let's run it once again, and there should be a log file. Yep, there you go, guys. So here you can see the function name is this. It took 50 microseconds or milliseconds, whatever. I need to check why the address is not being printed, but I can double check on that. Memory was 136 bytes. This was the date and time when you execute that. So this is a logging module we just developed in Python. Hope you have enjoyed this beautiful tutorial on Python. If so, do give a like. If you have questions, post them in the comment and would be very happy to assist you. Once again, thank you for love and support, and see you guys next time.